Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. John from Heroes and Legends, and today Wizards of the Coast has released the full list of cards that will be included in From the Vault Transform that will be coming out on November 24th. So today we're going to take a look at each one of the cards included. I'll give you my thoughts on them, and we'll even talk about some of the financial value attached to each one. At the end of the video, I'll give you my overall thought on the actual product. Is this something you want to pick up, something you want to pass on, and really, who is this product for? Now, before we get into the individual cards, I do want to talk a little bit about the general product. It does cost $34.99 retail price. However, I do want to point out first and foremost that it's going to be very difficult to find this at retail price. It's just the nature of these products. They're very limited. So sometimes you get lucky and find a store that will sell them at retail price. I have seen it. Or maybe an LGS kind of hooks you up because you're a good customer there and they'll sell it to you for retail price. But for the most part, you're probably going to pay somewhere in the ballpark between $50 and $100 for a product like this. These tend to vary when they're released based on the actual value of the cards included in them and just when and where you pick them up. So do remember that. The second thing you want to know about this particular set of cards, they have a special foiling process. So it's not like your regular foils. They are very glossy, shiny foils. Problem with this in the past has been it has led to a lot of card warping. In fact, we've opened some of these products in the past on the channel. Cards came right out of the box warped. So keep that in mind. Can you flatten them out in binders and kind of get that warp out of them so you can play with them? Yes, if you work at it, you can. I have done it and it's been fine. But just keep that in mind that there might be a little extra hassle attached. Now, good news is maybe if they're foiling both sides of the card, you won't run into that quite as much. That is still waiting to be determined as we see these actually come out of boxes in another few weeks, right? So we don't know that for sure, but at least some people are speculating maybe that'll be the case. Also, too, maybe they fixed the problem after all these years. I don't know if I would bet on that, but maybe that'll be the case, too. So just keep that in mind. Some players do shy away from this product just because of that foiling process. It's just something that they don't want to have to deal with. Okay, let's get into the individual cards. And we're going to start off, even though I know you see the main cards you probably want to talk about in the background. We'll get there. But we're going to start off with Archangel Avacyn, who of course transforms into Avacyn the Purifier. Current value of her regular card from Shadows over Innistrad is $4.99. So we're going to look at values today based on the regular card printing, not like a promo printing or not a foil printing. The reason for that is typically, at least when these sets come out, prices of these cards are usually a little bit closer. Sometimes they're slightly higher, but they're usually a little bit closer to the regular card printing than they are the foil. So just keep that in mind. As time goes on, that can change, but at least initially, we're going to look at values for the regular card printing today. So if you got the original one, Shadows over Innistrad, regular printing, it would run you about $5. So why is she here? I think she's a great inclusion, actually, because a lot of the cards in this set are going to be great cube cards. She fits into that mold. Now, yeah, you know what? Archangel Avacyn, she had a great showing in Standard back in her day. Okay, maybe doesn't see a whole lot of play right now. A little bit in Frontier kicking around. But for the most part, she is very iconic and is still good in some of these more casual formats. All right, next we have another card in white. It's Bruna the Fading Light. 97 cents. Of course, she combines with Gisela, which we'll look at in just a few moments, to make Rizella Voice of Nightmares. You can see the top portion of the card, which is attached to Bruna here. So again, not a high financial value, particularly with this card, but another really interesting cube card. Now the next card, of course, Gazella the Broken Blade, she's worth a little more, $6.79. Of course, there's the bottom part of the card. And the reason I think these two were included more than anything is the fact that seeing the large Eldrazi card, the Eldrazi Angel, in the special foiling process is probably going to look really, really cool. So I think that's why they did it. I wouldn't be able to resist doing it either. These cards, again, do see play. Now, this one a little more so than the previous one, but yeah, do see play in Commander as well as cubes. They definitely see play together in cubes a lot of the time. So again, another interesting inclusion. Not a surprise to me that they're both here. All right, and our last white card is Kytheon, Hero of Akros, which of course transforms into Gideon Battleforge. $4.24 currently is the value here. Now, I'll tell you right now, all 5 of the Magic Origins Transform Planeswalkers, they are all here. So I think that's a good choice, and we'll be looking at the other 4 in just a few moments, of course. But I'm actually happy they did that, because It's going to be hard for them to find a good place to print these cards again in the future. The reason for that is, if you reprint them, do you want to reprint all 5 at the same time? Maybe you do, but maybe your set can't really handle that if you're doing like a Modern Master set or something like that. The other issue is, if you're not printing a fair number of transform cards, it's not realistic to pay the extra money to make a transform sheet when it comes to printing and stuff. It can be very expensive anyway, much less if you don't have enough of them. So there's a lot of considerations here. So I think Wizards took this opportunity to say, you know what, we don't know when we're going to be able to reprint these again, so let's just reprint all 5. Now, could one show up in a master set like a Jace, and maybe they throw in some other transform cards from like Innistrad or something like that? Sure, they could do that. Maybe they will in the future. At least for right now, Kytheon, good inclusion. Glad all 5 of these are here. Another card that, okay, doesn't see a whole lot of play. Didn't have a big splash in Standard in its time, but it does see a little bit of Frontier play here and there. Next, we have our first blue card, Elver of Secrets, which transforms into Insectile Aberration. Current value, $1.49. However, don't be fooled by that. This card has seen extensive play in many competitive constructed formats. So yes, it saw some standard play back in its day, but most notably, this card has been a big card for Legacy, as well as Vintage, and even Modern. So if you play those formats, you're probably very, very familiar with this card and what it can do. I do want to point out, too, this is brand new art for Delver, and I like the original art, but this one is a nice take on it. I think it looks really, really good. So this is one of the cards I felt had to be included here because it is the transform card, arguably, that has had the biggest impact on Magic. The next one we're going to look at has had a pretty big impact, too. Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which of course transforms to Jace Telepath Unbound. Current value $23.81. Financially the biggest card you'll find in this product, and financially the biggest transform card you'll find, period. So it's a good thing Jace is here. Now last week they showed us the 3 face cards of the product, actually accidentally, but Jace wasn't there, and a lot of people were worried about that. As a matter of fact, I did a video about the face cards, and just look at the comments section. A lot of people said, I'm not buying this if Jace is not there. Wizards needed to include Jace. That would have been a huge miss, and people would have just not been happy, and this product would not have sold very well. And really, probably then would go for a retail price, or maybe just slightly more. So, good thing that it's there. It just had to be there. I would have been completely baffled if they did not put it there. I mean, one theory was they could hold the card for other stuff in the future, which, I mean, they still could do. But the thing you have to remember about a card like this is transform cards are very difficult to work into sets. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to see this in like a Modern Masters or something one day, but if they were to do that, they'd have to make sure it fits into their limited game. On top of that, they'd have to have enough other transform cards that fit into their limited game. This card doesn't necessarily play well with other transform cards. Like, a lot of times you think transform, you think werewolves and stuff like that, right? This card doesn't really fit that theme. So it becomes very difficult to create a set where you have enough transform cards to be able to actually put transform in the set. And then on top of that, you can still work Jace into it. It's not something that's going to be easy to do. Not to say they won't do it in the future with a master set or something, but it's not guaranteed by any means. So I think this product was a good opportunity to throw all 5 of these Magic Origins Planeswalkers in there, especially Jace. Just get some more copies out there for players in the meantime until they figure out what to do for a bigger reprint in the future. And I think that was a good decision, quite honestly. It's good to get this card out here. Now, I talked about its impact as far as financial value, but you can't deny the impact on gameplay as well. Of course, this is a great cube and commander card that goes without saying, but this card was a powerhouse in Standard in its day. At one point, it was going for like $80, $90. It was insane. Still sees playing Frontier, but maybe more importantly, some of these more popular formats like Modern, you'll see some Jace show up there, but Vintage and Legacy, Jace is very popular there, at least in a couple decks. So yeah, maybe not the extent of play that it saw during its Standard time when everyone was trying it in every format and a whole bunch of different decks because they saw how powerful it was in Standard, but it is still a card that sees a lot of competitive play, no doubt. All right, let's move on to black with Argol's Bloodfast, which of course transforms into Temple of Aclazotz. 99 cents. This is the lone card from Ixalan, so I'm sure they wanted to showcase the Ixalan transforming into these lands mechanic, but why did they pick this card, I guess is the question. So I'm sure when they were putting this product together, Ixalan wasn't out yet. They were completely speculating on which card maybe would be a desirable one from the set. They chose this one. Would have been nice if we got maybe Search for Azcanta, but I'm sure they were just guessing and they're trying to guess the metagame ahead of time. And It's going to be difficult to do, right? We all try to do it. We do these videos, in fact, where we talk about which cards we think will be good. I thought this card would actually be a lot better than it was when it comes to standard play, but a lot of it just depends on the cards around it, and you have to keep that in mind, the direction of the meta and such. Does it see some standard play? Yeah, it sees some standard play. Sometimes it's like a one of and a sideboard and like dobs on tokens or something like that, but it's not seeing extensive play at this point. Now, something like Search for Escanta, yeah, I knew that would be a good card. I'm sure they did too, but it does fall into the control niche. And if control wasn't good in the meta, then it wouldn't have seen as much play as it did. So you're completely guessing. They guessed this one. This is the one we're getting. Next is Bloodline Keeper, which of course becomes Lord of Lineage. Great inclusion here. This is a card that's never been reprinted. Actually, like most cards in the product, the Magic Origins Planeswalkers did get a special printing for the San Diego Comic-Con 2015 special product. But for the most part, these cards haven't been reprinted before. This one, awesome in Commander. This has spiked recently due to the success and the excitement around the Commander Vampire deck, which was released a few months back. Perfect upgrade for that deck. So I'm glad to see that it's getting some special foiling and some love in this particular product. And again, it just puts a few more copies out there for players. I don't think it's going to impact prices all that much. I think just generally some of the prices on the regular cards will take a small hit from this product, but not a huge one because it is limited. But I'm happy to see it here. Liliana, Heretical Healer, which of course becomes Liliana Defiant Necromancer, $9.87. Another card that is big in Commander, Cube play, stuff like that. Great casual card. I always liked this card just in general, and it was actually pretty good in Standard and State too, at least in the right decks. So again, great inclusion. Happy to see it here. Has a pretty nice price tag attached to it too. And here, of course, is Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh, which becomes Chandra, Roaring Flame. Out of all the Magic Origins Planeswalkers, she holds the least financial value at $3.02, but she did see a little standard play here and there in her time as well. And again, just happy to see all 5 here. Garruk Relentless, which becomes Garruk the Veil Cursed. $5.26. This is the original Transform Planeswalker from Innistrad. And this card is actually really sweet in cubes. If you've ever played with it there, it can be great because it is a removal card in a lot of ways, and sometimes it's hard to find some really good green removal to put in cubes. So this one constitutes and shows up there a lot of the time. Also, too, this sees a little bit of legacy play, like out of sideboards, like 4-color Loam decks or a Lauren deck, sometimes like a one-of. So not extensive play, but just a little bit here and there. So I do think it's a good inclusion, and it has brand new art, and the art's super sweet as well. Nissa Avast Woods here, which transforms into Nissa Sage Animus, $6.78. And this is the last of the 5 Magic Origins Planeswalkers, so no surprise that she's here, of course. And I kind of expected to see her, even when I speculated on the set, and I didn't think they'd put all 5 in there. I was hoping for it, but I didn't think we'd see all 5. I thought we'd see maybe this one in Jace, just because of the impact that the 2 of them had on Standard during their day. But yeah, Gladness is here as well. All right, here's another newer card, Arlinn Kord, which transforms into Arlinn Embraced by the Moon, $3.84. Card that shows up a lot of times in Commander, for example, when you have like token or wolf builds and things of that nature. So I'm glad she's here. They actually have a lot of Planeswalkers in this particular product, 7 altogether. That's quite a bit. Almost half the cards in this Transform product are actually Planeswalkers, so that's kind of interesting. This card also sees some Frontier play too. Huntmaster of the Fells, which of course becomes Ravager of the Fells with all new artwork. The artwork on this is beautiful. This looks really amazing. Huntmaster, classic card back in its day, right? Like Channel Fireball had tons of success with this in Standard, and even beyond that, this is still a very playable modern card in Jund builds. And finally, Elvis the Binding Blade, which becomes Withengard Unbound. $4 value here, but this is a card that is a fan favorite in Commander, so I was really happy to see this here. This is a card, again, of course, hasn't been reprinted before, and a lot of people play with this card. Even if it's just a one-of, a lot of people will throw this in a Commander deck here and there. So, yeah, I'm glad that this was here. This felt like a really solid inclusion that will make a lot of Commander players happy. All right, so if you add up the values of all the cards we looked at today, it comes to $100.35. So around $100 is actually pretty good. Keep in mind when the product actually hits the stores that some of the values of these singles will go down a little bit. They won't take a huge hit, but they might go down slightly. And also keep in mind the foils that are in this product might be worth slightly more than the regular cards. So you'll probably see a little bit of a balance, but it should land somewhere around the low 100s when it comes to value for singles out of the box. Now, with that being said, who's this product for? Like, why should I buy this? Are you a cube player? This is the perfect product for you, I would say. buy this, trick out your cube, put these special foil cards in there. Some of them have new art. They're going to look awesome. That's really, I think, what this is geared for. Great for Commander players if you're interested in these cards. If you don't want to play with these cards, then I think it's a pass. This is not for competitive Magic players, so you can't really sit down and build a deck out of this. You can't play Draft, you can't play Sealed. So if you like to play Magic, I would say just buy the singles or buy packs to draft with. This isn't the product for you either. If you're a collector that likes sealed product, though, this is a great pickup for you. These things tend to hold more value sealed than they do opened, so some people do like to collect sealed product, whether it's booster boxes or things like this. And yeah, this is a great pickup if you're into that. For me, I was more about opening stuff. I never wanted to keep things sealed. I wanted to play with the cards and see the cards and all that stuff. That's just me. But again, if you're a big cube player, if you're into sealed product, or you're a Commander player that wants a lot of these cards, or even a competitive player that just wants a lot of these cards, and you're going to buy a whole bunch of them anyway, then maybe it's just worth it if you can find a right price for this product for you. So with that being said, that's the information for today. Hey, quickly before we go, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, check out the description below. There's a few ways to support the channel and what we do here, one of which is Patreon. You'll find that linked below. Also, you'll find some links to Amazon products. If you make any purchases on Amazon, once you go through one of our links, we'll get a small percentage back. And then finally, Flipside Gaming, which you saw at the top of the show, has given a promo code for our viewers. They have a lot of stuff there you can save money on. They're doing pre-orders for Iconic Masters, for example, so check them out. But with that being said, hey, thanks for watching as always. Until next time, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.